It is Parallel Frequencies. I am Just Blane, and there is Coco over there. What's up, Coco?
What's up? It's Tuesday.
Yeah, Tube Tuesday.
Tube Tuesday. Love Tube Tuesday. Don't love Tuesdays. Let's say that.
Really? Is that like your least favorite day? Do you have a least favorite day of the week?
It's my least favorite day of the week. You know, when I was a teacher, it just seemed like the day that I was the most tired, the most unwilling to get into it, and the kids were like the most riled up and difficult, and our vibes weren't vibing. And so it just seemed like the hardest day anyway. But even as I'm not a teacher anymore, it just feels like the day that it's hard to wake up. It's hard to feel motivated. I don't know what it is about Tuesdays, but they're just not the day that I'm meant to do things. I don't know. But Tube Tuesday makes it much better because I do like TV. I like talking about TV, so.
That's a great question, though, for you out there. What's your least favorite day of the week? I think probably Sunday for me. It's like, maybe not Sunday overall, but it's that Sunday afternoon when the Sunday scaries kick in. I'm like, oh, not this again. Not this again, you know? But
yeah,
that might be my day. I didn't think about it till you said it, but it was popping in my head. I'm like, yeah, I'm not too big on Sundays. I like to watch the NFL, and usually when the NFL games are over, I'm like, the scaries kick in, you know? And it's
that bummer.
The week starting over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not alone there. I know a lot of people that have felt like that. I remember a friend of mine when I was a little kid and I was having a sleepover at her house. I remember her mom actually saying that to us because it was Sunday, and she was like, I don't really like Sundays. You just start to worry about Monday coming. The looming, go back to work, go back to school feeling is just it starts to get to you.
Yeah.
So you're not alone.
Yeah. I'm, you know, we don't want to have to go back to the system, you know, to the repetition that we're used to. And I guess most of the Sunday, you won't have to do that until the NFL games are over.
Yeah.
And that's my cue.
The signal.
Have you heard about this right here that I'm about to show you? Because I thought we were done with Ed and Lorraine Warren, but it says The Conjuring First Communion is coming out September 10th, 2027.
Wow.
With the same people, with Vera and Patrick. They're going to come back and play them again, and I think this will be a prequel because they can't go any further. But I thought they were done with this. I thought they wrapped it up. I thought the last one, the fourth movie or whatever, they said, you know, this is the last Conjuring. Man, they're not going to end those Conjuring movies. They're making too much money, and I enjoy them too much. Don't end them. You know, I like them.
Yeah, if you saw Saturday Night Live last week or week before when Finn from Stranger Things was on, some of those sketches were the best, and they were like, we were done with Stranger Things until we realized how much money we made, and now we're back.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard at that. I'm like, yeah, everything's done until it's like, well, we looked at how much money we made. We could stretch this a little more.
Yeah, but there's shows out there that don't do that. They haven't money grabbed. And, well, there's not many. I was going to say, well, you know, Breaking Bad didn't. Vince Gilligan, but I think it did. They came back and did like a Jesse thing or something, and they're talking about reviving it at some point. Maybe. It's a rumor. But Vince Gilligan does our show today, Pluribus. Season 1, Episode 2. Because this is the one that we're going to expand a little bit further than just diving into a season. Because each episode of this show is heavy, it's deep. And I mean, the very first scene in episode 2, which is called The Pirate Lady, and we find out who the Pirate Lady is. But the opening, talk to me about what you were feeling right there at the opening scene.
Yeah, so you kind of got this idea from episode 1 about how this hive mind thing works and how everybody's kind of joined, or this psychic glue that has joined them all together. And I think the opening sequence of episode 2 is where you really get to see it in theory, how it would be applied, what it would look like. Because if you notice, Zosha, so she ends up being kind of the special chaperone for Carol, her own special one individual. And she's over in Morocco or Lebanon and working. Like, she's dirty working. Nobody's talking to each other because they don't need to. What would they need to talk to each other about? They're all one mind, right? So you see how there's no communication. Everyone just seems to know exactly what's needed and where everybody's supposed to be. I imagine it like if you had a video game, but you were all the characters so that you could somehow tell all the characters where to be at any given time. It would all flow perfectly, right? Everybody's doing exactly what they're meant to do, and everything works towards the whole and greater good. And so you see how she's like digging, and all of a sudden she's being called, but not really called, because there's no like one higher person. It's just kind of like everybody knew like all at once that she was picked for how she looks to go be with Carol, to go talk to her. And she's got a motorcycle pulled up. That person gets off, hands her the helmet. She puts it on. You see her drive. Everyone's out of her way. She's got no traffic. Nothing's going to hinder her because they're all one mind. I mean, you just kind of, that blew my mind. And when she shows up, she drives the airplane. She gets there. When she shows up, she's still dirty from digging. And you watch how the other people are already drawing her a shower, already putting everything in place for her. Nobody says a word. She probably doesn't even know those people. They, or would have known them when they were individuals. But she shows up, she takes her shower. Everything is just working like absolute clockwork to provide Carol with this one. The one with this face, right?
It's 12 minutes of silence, but it tells an entire story. And you just went through it. But yeah, they did pick her because she looked familiar to Carol. She was basically straight out of Carol's novels, the Wakaro novels. And the Hive knows Carol intimately, academically, incorrectly at times. Like, they know her. And Zosha coming in that whole opening scene is powerful because you do see how all of this, it just works. No talk, just action, it just works. And they all know everything is happening at the right time. Like they're it's almost like you hear about people being a cog in the wheel.
Yes.
They're just the wheel. There's no more cogs. It's like we're all one wheel. We come together, we figure it out, we do it. And that's, what we talked about episode 1. It's that, wow, does that sound awesome or does that sound terrifying?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, because you can see how efficient it is. You can see how it works and that there's no any one person that's important over anyone else. It's like the work that needs to be done, the digging. There's so many of us individuals who'd be like, I would never want to be the one in the hot sun digging all day. But this is not about one individual's needs or wants. It's like everybody has all the same dream, all the same wants and needs. It's just about what needs to get done. The digging needs to happen. The fixing needs to happen. Stuff needs to get moved and whatever. And it's all part of like this bigger thing now. It made me think so deep and hard over just watching that sequence. Just that opening sequence just made me think so many thoughts. You would have missed it if you were on your phone watching that,
Oh, absolutely. And we see Carol's grief spikes. Millions of people die. That's crazy. In this new world for Carol, she realizes that emotions have consequences. Serious ones, not metaphorical ones, body count ones. That's got to be terrifying. Coco, you're big into the emotions and all this stuff. Could you imagine being told that your feelings are now a weapon?
Yeah, well, this is what's fascinating about this to me, from my perspective, is, okay, we know that emotions are just energetic motion in the body, right? That's why it's called emotion. Energy in motion in the body. And that's just a vibrational frequency, right? So this this RNA that caused this hive mind, the psychic glue, right? So it's not exactly a virus, but it was created by the frequencies that came through from outer space, from light years away. We don't know where it came from, but it was a frequency. It was a frequency. So you know that whatever has affected their bodies to become this one hive mind, they're very sensitive to those frequencies. And it's not that they don't have emotions, because you see that the hive mind, they have emotions too. They feel love, they feel sadness, they feel excitement. You see them feel emotions. So it's not like they're robotic. It's not like they're all of a sudden so enlightened above emotions that they just don't have them. It's not that they are, it's all these, I'm thinking of other movies and stuff where you have these like alien invasion, or like it's an entire AI takes over the world or something like that. They have those emotions, but they're deeply, deeply affected by Carol or any of the others. They had them. Like if they're experiencing something rage filled, it's going to vibrate a frequency that actually affects them in such ways. And the millions of people died potentially because they were like driving a car when it happened, or they were, they were doing something dangerous. So then they died from that. We don't know if they died from the anger specifically, but the shock that they went into.
It's just wild to think that it's not your choices or your actions. It's your feelings that made Carol a mass murderer.
Yeah.
There's no villain monologue. There's no like bad guy. It's just basically her guilt arriving faster than a comprehension of what she just did. She already felt guilty, like, that's gotta be crazy to realize. And they tell her that, and it's insane. It's insane. They give her the hive mind through Zosha does try to give her the sales pitch, we're going to soothe it over, and all this stuff. And they want Carol calm, no matter what, not healed, calm because of this, it's about stability.
Yeah.
Not compassion. They don't care about compassion. It's stability. And that's what Carol has to be, is calm for them to be stable. What's the difference in peace and sedation, Coco? Like being at peace or being...
That's where we get into a debate about what's really going on with these people, because I don't know that I don't think that they're operating purely on their own survival. Otherwise, this hard line of we don't kill or pick things, and we don't find out till later. I don't want to get too far into it, but we do find out as they're kind of learning a little bit more about them. They aren't going to survive based on their one idea of what is a moral way to live. They will starve. So if they were so concerned about their own survival, and that I mean, clearly they don't want millions of people to die. So yeah, keeping Carol calm would be in their best interest. I can understand that. But I would say it is compassion that keeps them doing what they do. I don't think that it's, and this is where we get into like a debate of moral difference between these, Carol feeling like this is the worst thing to happen to everybody because it got rid of all of our individualism, all of our what makes us humanity, versus is Carol really protecting humanity, or is she protecting ego?
Exactly.
Is it ego that makes us all think we're individuals and we're special? And is this actually a representation of the higher self? Because if there's a collective consciousness, and Jungian, theories prove that there is, we all have a collective consciousness we are all a part of. We are all tapped into some general hive mind knowing when our subconscious can tap into it. And it's our conscious selves and our ego that keeps us into this individualism, into like this body, this individual is Courtney, is Coco, right? Like So this is kind of like saying this is a separation between the higher self, which is the hive mind, the us, the them that they've all just tapped right into. Whatever it is, it's just gotten them a straight line to it. It's like there no longer is an ego for this individual. We are just all the collective consciousness. And then those 12 or 13 individuals that did not get tapped in for whatever reason, because of their DNA, did not allow them to tap in. So they're hanging or clinging tightly to this idea that I'm an individual and I'm me and nobody else is me. But maybe it's not evil. Maybe, I mean, it just starts to give you this like back and forth question. What do you think about that?
Yeah. It's an ethical trap. Carol is in an ethical, moral trap. Like, she realizes the truth that her anger not only disrupts the hive, but it hurts them, terrifies them, threatens the entire system. But using it could kill millions, you know, and innocent people and people who didn't choose this. This episode right here is really the core dilemma for the whole show. It's fight back and become a monster, or stand down and let the world stay wrong. It's not with great power comes responsibility. This is with great power comes unbearable guilt. And I think that's where Carol is. Like, that's what she's going through. She's got the most power there is. But do I use it and become the monster, you know?
Yeah. Because then she's the one that makes that choice to destroy people, whereas their choice collectively as an entire hive mind have collectively decided they will do no harm.
That's right.
And that they have a moral obligation. They've drawn this actual line. It's crazy to me. Like, as an entire whole, they've drawn this line that says, we will not kill anything. We will not even pick fruit off the tree. Yes. Like, they serve the lobster and they serve the meat, and they say to them, we could not find lobster that was not already dead. And they were like, what do you mean? Yep. They're like, we don't kill. We do not kill. You can eat what's in the stored, what's in already killed and that's in the stores now, but we will not be killing from here on out. Like, this is our line. It's so interesting to me, even though they know that's not sustainable for themselves, that they would have like another decade to live. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's not about their survival. They're all more about the collective whole agreeing on what is moral and right and doing what's best for the whole. And they're just like, that's not what's going to be best for the planet. That's not what's right or whatever, which I don't really agree with, but interesting, right?
Very interesting. And Carol finally gets some relief, you think, when she meets the other immune survivors. She's not alone, but she kind of is.
She kind of is.
After she talks to them, you know, like, some of them are kind of, they're complacent. Some like the order. Some believe that individuality was the problem to begin with. So there's, you know, no resistance really, no scrappy rebels. Carol's not really the scrappy type, you know. She's got the attitude and all that, but she's not somebody that I think is going to be the one that does all this. It was almost like the humans just gave up willingly. The ones who were left just kind of gave up. And once again, we've talked about this before, like, comfort beats freedom.
For sure.
It beats it more than we like to admit, you know. It's kind of like arguing with somebody and saying, yeah, I sold out and I sleep great. You know, like, that's what it is. It's the same thing.
Now, come on, there's not a lot of judgment you can give people for that. You can say that that's bad and they sold out and they're not an artist or whatever. But I mean, come on, who wouldn't make that choice if given the choice? Or can you really judge somebody for making that choice for themselves? And I want to point out that Carol, when she gets to meet the other individuals who did not get affected by this DNA, this RNA sequence and hive mind and all that, she gets to meet them. And what's interesting is she's one of the only ones, I won't say the only one because that might not be true, but she's one of the only ones in the group that doesn't have family members. You notice that her person, Helen, died in all this. She's grieving that. She's grieving the loss of that. Without Helen, I think Zosha later in a later episode mentioned she has a cousin somewhere. She's like, do you want to contact your cousin?
Yeah.
And she's like, no.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me that you can kind of see it from their perspective where they're like, these are my family members I brought with me. And this one's my son. And no, I don't really see a problem here. Like, she's like, what are we going to do about this? And they're like, what do you mean do about it? I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, but you can also see her argument too when she says, that's not your son. That's not your wife. That's not your mom.
Yeah.
Because they're not.
Now they're everybody.
Physical being only. With a little bit of their mind in there because it's in there anyway. This scene right here to me was like, it divided the ideas of humanity to what it was to these people. Carol wanted the restoration, others just wanted stability. And nobody agrees on what humanity even means anymore in this circumstance. Survival doesn't equal living, but living doesn't guarantee survival. So what does work, If the world works better without you, do you still fight for it? And that's the audience. That's for the audience,
because
It's like,
how much of that is ego, right? How much of that is Carol's ego being like, but I was special. So I want you to think about this for a second because she's an artist. She's a writer. She wrote, novels, and clearly that, takes some artistic talent and individualism to be able to produce something like that. I even think it's interesting to think that they would like her to write her novels. They would like her to continue writing her novels because if you think about it, they are never going to get a new thing to read ever again.
Yeah.
Ever again. So there's an argument to Carol having a point there. But we also know Carol to be a pretty selfish person. You see that in episode 1, right from the start. She's kind of a difficult person. She's not somebody I would seek out to be a partner with because I would be like, it's all about you. All you care about is how you feel and you feeling good. She has to do the breathalyzer because clearly she's had a little issue with drinking and driving. And it's kind of, I don't know, you get the sense that she's like used to people doing things for her. She's used to having people show up and kind of worship at her feet a little bit with the novels that she's written and the status that she's created for herself. So I can understand her want to fight for that individualism and say, but I'm special. And when if I were to become a hive mind, the me that I am ceases to exist. When in reality, it doesn't. It just becomes one of.
Yeah. And then in this episode, we see a crack in Zosha because something unexpected happens. She hesitates. A flicker, a pause that isn't scripted by the hive mind. It kind of shows and gives us this thought that individuality might be contagious even inside the hive mind. Maybe they can maybe she can pull the real Zosha out. Carol makes a decision that feels wrong and right at the same time. She re-enters the group. Not surrender, not a victory, something in between. And that's kind of where the episode ends. Resistance doesn't always look loud, Sometimes it looks like patience. And that's what I think she's doing here. She's not cured. She's not calm. She's contained for right now. And that's where they want her to be, What's your final thoughts on this episode before we wrap this?
Well, this is just the episode where I started to think, I don't know if this is a total takeover of the world in a bad way. I'm being presented with an idea that maybe the hive mind has got a point. And I'm not totally sold on Carol's point of view. But I'm not totally sold on them making these 12 individuals part of the hive mind either. So I was kind of, that's where I was by episode 2 watching it.
Yeah, it's if your pain could break the world, would you bury it or risk telling the truth? That's what it comes down to in this episode for me. And I love where this series is going, it's got Vince Gilligan. It's got the stink of him all over it, you know,
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
It really does. And I can't wait to get deeper into this. Until next time, though, that's it. That's the episode. Until next time, it's Just Blane and Coco with Parallel Frequencies. We'll
Stay
see you on the
freaky.
other side. Yeah.